Show.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we had the parade. I suppose the SHOT Show is officially open. 3, 2, 1. Well, friends, we're back in the Inner Arms booth this year at the 1992 SHOT Show, interviewing our good friend Roy Melcher. Again, I think Roy thinks we're trying to make a TV star out of it, but he does really well. He has some new guns that Inner Arms is handling that he's going to show us this year. So, Roy, tell us what you have here in front of you.
Let's start out with a smaller caliber first. New for this year's Rossi 22 Magnum, double action revolver, 6-shot, all stainless.
Great. Now that looks like it has a heavier barrel.
It is a slightly heavier barrel. I'm trying to change, get a little bit better feel out of the gun. Slightly heavier barrel at that length hangs better for shooting. A little bit more comfortable to shoot.
Very nicely made handgun.
Yes, sir. To aid the shooter, we've put in a blued rear sight, blued front sight. Easier to pick up the sights off of a stainless steel gun.
And of course, those are fully adjustable for windage and elevation.
That's right. Rear sight fully adjustable for windage and elevation. The front sight, if it gets damaged, is pinned in.
You can replace it with
a pin, replace the front sight.
Very nice, I'm sure. Now, you know, the gun here in the middle has a special appeal for me. I like big bore handguns, so tell us what this gun here in the middle is.
All right. Again, new for this year, Rossi 44 Smith & Wesson Special. And in essence, a short 44 Magnum, relatively low velocity. It fires, let's say the standard bullet is a 240 grain lead bullet. Again, double action, 5-shot.
Now that's all stainless, isn't it?
All stainless. Again, for the shooter, blued rear sight, blued front sight.
Well, if I can make a prediction, I think you're going to sell every one of those you make.
I hope so.
Excellent package with the heavy barrel, and of course we'll mention that these guns are very competitively priced. Am I correct?
Definitely.
And
best value for money on the market today. The rubber grips that are on this gun make it extremely comfortable to hold, and with the grip configuration that Rossi has come up with the rubber grips, it points naturally. You can hold the gun at your side, bring it up, the sights are right there.
Well, and I know that Inner Arms has a very fine warranty policy. We've had some really good luck with you folks in past years on product.
Yes, sir.
Now tell us about this short barrel gun here on our left.
Again, adding to the 357 line that we've already got, which is a 4-inch barrel and a 6-inch barrel. Same gun, the 2.5-inch barrel. Easier to carry, more concealable if needs be. Again, the rubber grips to make the gun comfortable to shoot. 357, as you well know, does have a bit of a bite to it, a bit of a bark when you fire.
Yeah, but boy, they're effective.
Help it.
They
Again,
sure work.
Blued sights, easier target acquisition.
Well, very nice new product lineup. We're looking forward to seeing those in the stores.
Great.
All right. Now we'll do a little quick run around it. We'll be out editing here. We'll do a turnaround in the Inner Arms booth. In fact, we could drop this in.
Edit that.
Got it.
Okay. Drop that in.
Walther TPH in stainless steel, 25 ACP caliber. Out edit. 3, 2. And this is the Star M45 Firestar in Star Bell finish. It's a 45 ACP. Great. And here is the Firestar in blue, 45 ACP. Well, this is great. And the Star Megastar is in blue, a 12-shot 45 ACP. My goodness. And friends, I want to remind you, we're now talking with Luciano Rossi, and he is of the Rossi Firearms family. And from what you're saying, you folks have been in the gun business for a couple of 100 years. Is that correct?
Yes, since 1889.
My
My
goodness.
great-grandfather started making cavalry supply equipment, and in 1937 they started making guns, long weapons, and also derringers. A few years later, I started making also revolvers from inquiries from your country. Then we started exporting to here.
Well, we're glad to have you here at the SHOT Show in 1992.
Thank
Is there
you.
something you'd like to show us here that is new for you folks importing here? Or?
Yeah, we have news and only traditions in handguns, and this is our well-known line of Carmites, Pumas and Gallers.
And we've had experience with a number of Rossi firearms, and they're very serviceable. They work. They're finished well. And one of the best things I can say is they're excellent guns for the money. The prices are really good for the quality gun you get. So we're so pleased to meet this gentleman from the Rossi family, and hope he has a wonderful time in New Orleans. And hopes
Thank you, and we always are willing to keep the same good relationship between the United States and Brazil. Thank you.
Well, that's great. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very privileged to have Colonel Jeff Cooper stop by our booth today at the 1992 SHOT Show, and we have a couple of questions. And those of you who read Colonel Cooper's writings, as far as in magazines or the books he's written, know that this is one man who's not afraid to voice his opinion, and that's something we respect very much, and we think we need a lot more of this in our country today. Now, Colonel Cooper, I have a question for you. What do you think the current political climate is toward the American gun owner?
The situation is not as healthy as we would like. Much of it has to do with the continued urbanization of society. A society in which very few people have ever been off the pavement. And they have been progressively, I would say, losing in their moral output the notion of how they should handle themselves, especially in a very turbulent society which we have now. The problem of handling street crime, for example, is one of attitude more than weapons. And if we armed everybody, I'm not sure that people would have the will to use them. So we have a double problem of people who are unfamiliar with firearms in general. They haven't been out in the back lot as the farm boy was, and they are terrified of taking any sort of action for fear of litigation. It's an unhealthy situation.
Well, you know, that's one of the purposes of our program, is to show people that firearms aren't the evil things that are proposed by the common media, and we're having some success at that. Sir, do you find some satisfaction in the military going to a different caliber pistol for special purposes? I know you're not a great fan of the 9mm handgun.
Well, we've got two questions there. The second one, if I remember correctly, had to do with the direction of the military. And while we have a good many friends of ours who come and work with us who are in the military establishment, in general, the attitude of the people using the weapons is negative on the reduction in the power potential of the handgun. Handguns don't win wars. We don't even fight wars with handguns, but we sometimes save the lives of men who go on later and become the men who do win wars. I can give you many examples. And that being the case, the people on the line who have to use them are not in favor of the small caliber. We have many cases back from Desert Storm, friends of ours, acquaintances, and I have yet to find a man who pressed the trigger on an M16, but I have 6 who have pressed the trigger on a handgun. 5 of them use a 45 automatic by choice, because they preferred it to the 9.
Well, we want to mention, a lot of our viewers will remember a few weeks ago we featured one of your GSP handguns on our program, and we noticed that it was well thought out. What was your objective when you began that project on the GSP handgun?
Well, we started with the notion that the 1911 pistol is still the best service defensive sidearm that we know of. It could be improved. Mainly, it could be made so that when it comes out of the box, over the counter, it's ready to go. So that was my notion. I said, we'll take a 1911 pistol and do the things to it which need to be done, and nothing that doesn't need to be done, and try to make that ready to go when the customer buys it, so he doesn't have to take the pistol to a gunsmith to get it ready to shoot.
Now, our viewers interested in one of your conversions or customized GSP handguns can write to you out at Gunsight. Is that correct?
Well, we have them for sale insofar as we can keep up with the demand.
Well, we will flash your address on the screen and phone numbers if you'd like, so anyone interested can do that. Tell us about your training facility out in Paulden, Arizona, if you would, sir.
Gunsight Ranch is about 4 miles from Paulden Post Office. It's out in the woods. We have an academy there where we teach various types of small arms. We teach pistol, rifle, carbine, and shotgun. We started out as the American Pistol Institute because we thought that the American pistol technique developed in the early days of competition was something that no one else had. Now we find that nobody has any technique with anything. And since the people can't learn the marksmanship in the military anymore, and nobody is in the military anymore, if you want to learn to shoot a rifle, for example, there isn't much you can do except come
Well,
in a class by itself. It's the only semi-automatic rifle I know of that was issued to troops in serious war that stood up and did the job. Among other things, you can get a reasonably good trigger in a Garand, but you can't seem to get an M16. Now, you drop that subject and go to the cartridge. 22 was dreamed up because people thought that the troops were not going to be able to be taught to shoot. They were not going to be able to shoot any distance. They wanted something that was light. They figured if you can't shoot well, shoot a lot. So if you have a man with an M1, and you can issue him 80 rounds, 80. If you have a man with an M16, you can issue him 160 rounds, 160. That's twice as many rounds. Is twice as many better? That depends on how much you plan to miss. Our feeling is that you should hit what you shoot. But I think the armies of the world have pretty much given up on that.
well, I understand that currently the U.S. military is researching a larger cartridge than the 223. Is that correct? Or?
I don't know for sure. It's possible. The military spends most of its time chasing rainbows in terms of equipment that will overcome the weaknesses of the user. This is extremely dangerous because you can't do that. And if to the extent that you could do that, you would make those weapons available to the entire world, and we don't want that. At least I don't. I want weapons which are not all that easy to use, and so that only people of a very high type can use them. This is the story of the English longbow. You know, it was a secret weapon, but the French could buy all the longbows they want, but they couldn't win.
They couldn't use them. They didn't have the technique. Well, you know, we're seeing this across the country, and we're hearing from different police departments, and our company does some work for different government agencies on occasion. And what we're seeing is the police officers we talk to are caught in a scramble of more bullets and more bullets. I'll pass this along to you. Recently, where I'm from in Shreveport, we had a police action. 2 police officers fired 66 rounds out of the particular handgun they were using was a Glock 17, and they hit their subject twice out of 66 rounds.
Excuse me, but they're really reasonably fortunate they didn't shoot each other.
Well, my question was, where'd the other 64 bullets go?
Around and about. I don't. They're lucky if they didn't knock off some spectators and so on. We had an interesting case not long ago, just last year, where a police pair, a man and a woman, went to respond to a call for a supposedly dangerous dog, and the woman officer opened fire on the dog when she thought it was going to attack her, and she didn't hit the dog, but she shot her partner in the leg. So here you have a real solution to the spray and pray technique.
Right. Well, I personally feel like a lot of the line officers would have been much better off if they had stayed with their 6-shot revolvers and learn to shoot what they had.
There's no question about this. It's the man who fights. The instrument is just at the cutting edge, trying to build better and better and better tires in order to win Indianapolis.
Right.
Is a worthy aim, but it's not going to win Indianapolis. You've got to have a couple of other things besides the tire. And in the use of small arms in combat, the man is overwhelmingly the most important. If he does it right, it really doesn't matter what kind of weapon he has. These situations you speak of could have been solved beautifully by a police officer using, say, a 1859 Dragoon.
If they'd only been trained in proper use of
If
the
they've been
weapon.
trained, if they thought right. Partly it's training, but you can't train a man who doesn't want to be trained.
Well, do you agree that today mindset is what is so lacking in any agency concerning dealing with dangerous felons or any sort of violence? I probably got that out of one of your writings in Guns and Ammo magazine. Mindset is the primary problem that we have to overcome. Is that correct?
Oh, sure. And it's very difficult because one of the elements of mindset is determination, aggressiveness, all right, anger. And if you start mentioning that, much less teaching it to the law enforcement establishments, they throw you out.
Well, don't you agree we're seeing a passive? I read one recently where the aim of some of our social directors in Washington was to Swedenize the United States with that sort of socialist type government where everything was passive all the way from kindergarten up through retirement. And I think we're seeing the effects of some of that, whereas as citizens we're not allowed to defend ourselves against brutal attack. And I think this is something that the government...
They won't even let little boys fight in school. I've known of little boys in the early grades, 5th or 6th grades, being sent home because of fighting. I thought that's what little boys did. I mean, when they're little, they can't hurt each other. And so you can let them throw punches and receive punches and stand up for their rights and act like men. That's why they go to school, but not today.
Well, I think you're right. Well, this may be difficult to answer, but I think you'd be in a better position than most of the people that I know of to make a statement on this. Where are we going, Colonel Cooper? What's going to happen if the current trends continue about gun ownership in America? What's going to happen to our country?
I heard it said by a friend of mine to shorten the subject, if ye choose to be sheep, ye shall be mutton.
Well, I think that's put about as well as it could be. Well, Colonel Cooper, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us. It's been a tremendous pleasure for me meeting you. I've been a fan of yours for many years, and we hope that you're going to continue doing your part for many years to come.
Thank you. We'll do our best.
You see it weighs 8
3,
ounces.
2, 1.
Believe me, it's durable.
We are at
Falling off of our things. Believe me, they're durable.
Sure Sight Incorporated, and here in the booth with a gentleman named Brent Whitney. And Brent, tell us one about you folks, and you're from. In fact, tell us where you folks are based out of, if you would.
We're out of right out of Jacksonville, Florida, out of a little town called McClenny, and we've got a Sure Sight system, which is a scope sighting system that enables the average hunter to sight the rifle in using just one shot. I'll take just a few minutes to tell you. When the average hunter goes out into the woods or out to shoot, he shoots off of a shooting stand or some type of sandbag. Everybody always aims at the bullseye and you hit somewhere on the target. I've got an example here that they hit high and to the right. After shooting, then you put your gun into Sure Sight and you adjust your crosshairs back onto the bullseye, which you was originally shooting at. This is done by moving Sure Sight left to right and the height adjustments. Then after your gun is in Sure Sight and it's lined back up, you use windage and the elevation adjustments to move your crosshairs. And actually, while you're looking through the scopes, you'll actually watch your crosshairs move up and over to the bullet hole. And it's sighted in using just one shot.
Well, that's
you're
great.
there. And it's
Great
really,
idea. Tremendous
and everybody that comes
Now, this
by
is
the
it,
old timers,
right
they
over here.
look at
Is
it
that
and say,
This is sure shot right
the
here.
only way to
All
do
right,
it.
pick it up,
Most
show it
people
to
just
us.
can't do it 'cause
It's
they
got a
don't
swivel
have
pad in the front,
Well, we
non-slip
made
rubber
siding
pads on the
stand,
bottom.
target it, the instructions
It's padded
are
on the
there, everybody
inside
needs
where
to
it
do
don't mar the finish of your
And they
gun.
will, I think, hopefully.
It weighs only 8 ounces. It's made out of glass-filled polypropylene.
Now,
Right.
where can people buy this particular?
We are just a brand new company out, and this is the first time we're here at the SHOT Show.
Well, why don't you, we'll put your name and address up on the screen, and maybe some of our viewers out there would like to contact you about that.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate that. Our name.
Let me just home in on that right here. I believe we'll get a good shot of it. Let's see, let me focus.
Need me to back up?
Okay. No, let me.
They can call in and order that like everybody gets.
Call in and order direct if they want.
Order direct.
Let's see, Post Office Box 974, Glen, St. Mary, Florida.
How y'all doing?
32040.
32040, phone number 904-259-5793. Okay, from 1995.
It's a scope sighting system that's on.
Well, we're here in the booth with James Valley Sense, but that's not his. He's really John Collins, and he's going to tell us what James Valley Sense does.
I manufacture some different hunting aids that help to position animals, mainly deer and black bears for bow hunters specifically. They also work for big game also for rifle hunters. But mainly scents, in my opinion, are better suited for bow hunters that have to get in close to their animal. And I work with some different gland scents for deer. I put up in a gel form, and it works real well for people hunting deer for scrapes, and get them to return to the scrape more often, and also for laying scent trails during the real peak of the rut. And I feel they work a little better than liquid scents.
Well, I tell you what, I know there's a huge demand for your products, and I want to mention you do have a very attractive booth here in the background. It's so you have all kinds of things, and we hope that you're having a good SHOT Show. Well, that's about as pretty a rack on a deer as I ever saw.
That rack, I bought that rack, and I had it mounted up on this whitetail cape. And some think it might be a crossbred or a hybrid. I don't know. It's got a lot of characteristics of both.
What you're telling us that if we use some of your deer scent, we got a good shot at getting a deer like that.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, maybe we'll get Well, hopefully we can get a deer anyway. We appreciate you taking time to visit with us today, and we wish you a lot of good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, this is Kenny Jarrett of Jarrett Rifles talking to the gentleman here, and they make very fine custom rifles. You'll see articles on Kenny's work in a number of different places in Shooting Times magazine, which is one of our sponsors. And there's some very fine people. We hope to visit with them soon. Booth with Fred Choate, and they're one of the largest manufacturers of custom stocks and composition stocks probably in the world. So, Fred, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you folks do?
We make plastic synthetic stocks for hunting, police, military. We make firearms accessories for all the major manufacturers' guns. Well, right now, this is our newest thing that we're fixing to make. These are our prototype stocks for H&R Harrington & Richardson single-shot shotgun.
Well, you know, I'm glad to see that, because that is really such a neat and handy single-shot mechanism. A single shot is more gun, I think, than a lot of people realize. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And especially in that particular model. So I'm glad to see that.
Most people's first gun they ever get is a little single-shot shotgun. They'll be kids. Dad will buy them. They make about 10,000 of these a year. A little single shot. It'll have storage in the front.
Oh, yeah.
This will have storage in it.
Great idea.
A survival shotgun. And Marlin camp carbine. We sell a lot of these to the law enforcement. They carry them in their vehicles. Makes a real small little package.
Oh yeah, great idea.
Rack.
Great idea.
And then we sell a lot of those to the law enforcement.
And we do want to add that these are very reasonably priced.
Yeah, they are. I usually don't deal in the pricing in. I deal in the tool and die and work in the plastic injection molding. We make a lot of sporting stocks for Mausers, Remington.
Now what you're saying, if somebody has an old surplus 96 or 98 Mauser in the closet that's real ugly, they can buy a stock to fit a number of those different models and really make a very nice sporting rifle out of it.
A lot of people will take and they'll shorten the barrel, put a good scope on it, have it refinished, put one of our stocks on it, and end up with a really nice deer hunting rifle.
That's great.
This is a Savage 110. We make a lot of stocks for these. These have done real good. Make them for the Remington 700 long action, ADL and BDL. We sell a lot of those. And they're really rugged. A lot of people take their wood off, save their wood, keep it pretty as soon as they get it, and replace it with plastic for hunting, and then they can put it back on at the end of the year. They will show their gun in their gun case.
Well, we sincerely appreciate you taking time to visit with us, and I know a lot of our viewers out there will be interested in your products. Now, they can get your products, do they need to write to you folks, or they can get it through their local sporting goods dealer?
Both.
Okay.
We have lots of distributors, a lot of dealers handle ours.
All right. Well, why don't you give our viewers your mailing address if someone wants a catalog or something or information? Why don't you give them your mailing address?
It's Post Office Box 218, Bald Knob, Arkansas, and zip code is 72010.
Well, Fred, thanks so much for taking time to visit with us. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll get ready because you're about to jump in. Well, just tell us about some of your products, what you offer, how people can contact you. That'll work? Well, friends, this is George Dillman with the L.L. Baston Company, one of the best-known mail-order companies, I probably would say, in the world. And we're very pleased to be him, and he's going to tell us about some of the things that they offer, and is going to tell people how to contact them also. So George, go right ahead and start with something there you'd like for us to know about.
Well, the L.L. Baston Company has been in business now for 10 years. We're starting our 11th year this year, and we do primarily mail order sales of firearms parts and accessories. We're distributors for some of your more famous brands of parts. We specialize a lot in competitive pistol and rifle, action sport type accessories, Safariland, Ed Brown's, to mention just a couple of them.
In fact, I think you stock some stuff for one of our good sponsors, Clark Custom Guns, down in Keithville.
That's exactly right. We do a lot with Mr. Clark, both of them, and they make a wonderful product, there's no doubt about it.
I'll tell you, they're some of the finest people we've met in our industry too. But well, tell us about some of the things. I'm looking at Colt accessories back here on the wall, and our good friends from Choate Machine up here, and you have such a tremendous array of things. Is there something new that you just started carrying you'd like for our folks to know about?
Well, now, we have several new items and several products that have been improved over the last year's models. We sure do. A lot of our pistol accessories in particular are new. Of course, the compensators are available for pistols now, and that's growing in popularity both for use in competition, but also in law enforcement and just plain having good fun with these firearms.
All right, well, how can our folks get one of your catalogs?
If you will call the number 1-800-643-1564 and request a catalog, we can get you on a mailing list and get it sent out to you.
Well, sir, we thank you so much for taking time to visit with us, and this is one of the things we want to do on our show is show our viewers that the people in the gun industry are just normal folks like the rest of us.
You bet. That's exactly right.
George, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Showing him our new 445 Alaskan Guide Special.
Now, friends, I want to interrupt here. You'll remember seeing our good friend Brother Dave Mishna on the program a few weeks ago when we did he's the gentleman who took us on a tour of Wesson Firearms, and it's so good to see Dave here at their booth. And so I'm impressed already, and I hadn't even held it yet.
Well, Johnny, this is an interesting story with this gun. This is a stainless steel gun. I know it looks blued or looks blackened to you, but it's a stainless steel gun. It's titanium nitride coated, which virtually makes this gun not indestructible per se, but impervious to most salts, solvents, chemicals, etc. For the guy who's going to be in the woods or in the bush for any length of time, who is going to be around salt water or salt spray, this gun is almost impervious to any of those conditions. It is our .445 caliber, the one you're so fond of.
This is my favorite handgun caliber.
4-inch barrel, 5.5 inches overall, a ported shroud or compensated shroud, which lessens the felt recoil. Something that you and I spoke about with the 445 you have, but now we'll give you an opportunity to get one of these guns in the next few weeks and give this a try and compare it to the 445 that you're so fond of.
Boy, see, this hurts me. That's one of my very favorite handguns of all time, is that 445 Wesson. And see, I'm going to have to walk out of here without that. You know, see, this hurts me. For those of us who are passionate about handguns, you'll understand.
I understand, Johnny, all too well. But in a few weeks, very few weeks, we'll get one of these down to you, and you give it a go and show your audience. And I'm sure that they're going to want to know more about this gun, which they can with Wesson Firearms, 413 area code 267-4081. Those of you with a fax, 413-267-3601. Alaskan Guide Special.
Great.
Stop the film and take one of these things right here, folks, and we'll tell you this, and that we met you down here. And if you don't believe the word, folks, this is what Bob did himself.
Do you need a video? I mean, we can send you a copy of the video.
We'll run that.
All right, we're here talking to Bob Arterby at the Grandpa's booth, and they have a really unique product. It's called a deer sucker. So, Bob, you want to tell us a little bit about that right quick?
Yes, I invented the deer sucker in 1989. It was the first year that we put it into production. We put the 1 pound on a stick out in 1989. And the only question that we had, the only comments at that time, was that the deer sucker doesn't last very long. And the answer to that is, naturally, if it doesn't last, it must work. So last year we put out a 4 1/4 pound jumbo deer sucker for those that wanted something that would last a little longer. And at 4 1/4 pounds, we're still getting people that would like something bigger. However, 4 1/4 pounds is big enough. In fact, this year we're making one that's even smaller than that. That's a hanger. It's mid-range. So we have a mid-range deer sucker. We have a 2 1/3 pound hanging deer sucker this year. We've also made a 2 1/3 pound hanging bear sucker. Let me get that over here for you for just a second. This is new for this year also.
A bear sucker. Now
this is a bear sucker. And there's a lot of bear hunting into Canada and up in the northern states, so we'll probably do very well with it here. Our product is in a lot of the major catalogs, Gander Mountain, Bass Pro Shops. Doing an excellent job for us.
Well, that's great.
It's done a very good job.
Well, we think that a lot of our viewers would like to know about your product, and we'll be certainly happy to meet you through our camera here. So we appreciate you taking time to talk with us.
Thank you for stopping. Shut it off.
We'll get both of you on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're down at Kenny Jarrett's booth. Edit 3, 2, 1. We're down with Kenny Jarrett at the Jarrett Rifle Incorporated booth, and he's going to show us some custom guns. He's standing talking with a young man who is one of the owners of one of his custom guns. So, gentlemen, tell us what we have here in front of us.
Basically, what I'm going to show you, we got in the hunting pistol business about 4 years ago, and we wanted to choose a revolver because there is a certain element of the hunting public that likes to hunt with a pistol. 44 being the caliber that we chose for this particular gun because it does have enough of energy to kill deer-sized game. We basically buy a super Red Hawk frame, and we square the frame up, square the front of the revolver up, and we do what's called in the gun business a slick-up job to make the action real smooth on it. We install a bench rest quality 44 caliber rifle barrel that's de-blasted. We also install a muzzle brake of our design because the 44 does take a good bit of a recoil, and a lot of people complain about that. So our intended purpose was to make a very accurate, reliable 44 that a guy could live with to shoot a good many times. We call this our Super Red Hawk or Ultimate Red Hawk or whatever. Since we're primarily known for precision rifles and in the accuracy realm of that, we wanted a pistol that complemented that and didn't detract from it. This gun will do that consistently. We've made about 50 of them so far. This is a friend of mine here, Forrest Armicky. He manages the Ford Ranch out of Brady, Texas, and Forrest got one of the first, if not the first, Super Red Hawk that we created, and he can tell you a little bit about how it shoots.
It's a great weapon. I've taken deer with it, and I primarily use it for a fun gun. It's great for jackrabbits. I pulled up to a windmill before, and 5 shots killed 5 jackrabbits. And it sure don't have much kick to it. It kicks about like a 38. It's amazing how much of the punch that takes out of it.
Well, it really looks like your finish and all is so nicely done on the gun. Looks like a really nice package, and you know, what better testament than a man who owns one?
It's a great gun. It's an incredible hog gun. We've made some good hog guns with them, and they're just great. I never did consider myself a pistol shot until I got this weapon here, and it's just incredible. This gun will shoot better at 100 yards than a Smith & Wesson rifle.
Good gracious.
We were down on the ranch. I took a hunt. He sells some mighty fine deer hunting down at the Ford Ranch. And he had several of his hands that helped him there as guides, and we were sitting out on a table. And they put some beer cans up at 110 yards. They were consistently hitting beer cans with this pistol at 110 yards.
No.
That's right impressive with a handgun. I don't care who makes it.
I don't care, and who's shooting, that's right. Well, tell us about this XP100 here.
Okay, we primarily have been making this gun a lot longer than the revolver pistol. This is, again, a hunting vehicle for a guy that wants something convenient and easy to carry. We also do this in a target configuration for the silhouette shooters. At the Masters tournament this year, the first 3 places were in the long-range event. All 3 of those guys were shooting generic pistols. The guy that won it, Doug Koenig, was shooting a pistol that we completely rebuilt for him. This particular one is in 708 improved. This gun would be a good 350 or 400 yard deer killing weapon, provided the guy can shoot it well. These guns, I would like to say, are harder to shoot than a rifle. With all of the accuracy work, the machining and complete blueprinting of the receiver on this gun, this is a bench rest quality hard barrel. The chamber and everything is, the whole thing is precision start to finish. We also tune this gun and develop a custom load for it. We supply the gun with 20 loaded rounds and a data card on the load information for this particular weapon.
What it's done. Well, what are the ballistics on the 708 improved? Roughly.
In this particular gun with a 140 grain bullet, we can get it up to around 2,750 feet. So it's even though it's a pistol, it's about twice a gun that a 30-30 Winchester is.
Well, Kenny, we appreciate so much. We mentioned earlier that a lot of your guns have been featured in some of the publications. You're a very well-known custom rifle maker, and we appreciate so much you stopping to take time to talk with us about your custom handguns, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.
We appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're down here with our good friend Larry Pratt, a good friend and good sponsor. In fact, he is a fellow member of Gun Owners of America, and remember what we're always saying, and I hope you don't get tired of hearing us say this, because we're going to continue. Friends, we need your help to help us retain your firearms rights. Larry, you want to say something just for fun since we're here?
Well, here at the SHOT Show, we've been telling people about the DC liability, and we're getting a lot of the dealers to help their their own clients become aware of what DC has done to make it so that one city can pass a law and make it so that guns all across the country can be jeopardized. Because if other cities are allowed to do what Washington, D.C. has done, there won't be a dealer or manufacturer left in this country that'll be willing to make or sell a gun. And that'll be the end of the Second Amendment in this country because of the Washington, D.C. Liability Act. So we've been asking dealers to sign up their customers to write in and get their senators to co-sponsor Senator Smith's bill that would repeal the D.C. liability law. If you'd like to do the same thing, and you want to get a hold of Gun Owners of America, we can get you the information that you need to do that. We'd sure appreciate your help.
Well, friends, this is one of the best ways I can think of to help shore up the defenses for the Second Amendment. And if your guns and you're shooting, edit 3, 2, 1, if your guns and your ability to hunt and shoot are important to you, give Larry and Gun Owners of America a call at area 703-321-8585, and you'll see their address on the screen. And darn sure this will do more to help out all of us who cherish our firearms rights than almost anything I can think of.
Thanks, John.
3,
Thanks a lot. Good
2,
talking to you.
1, and ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Larry Pratt, Executive Director of Gun Owners of America, and State Representative Roy Brunn here in Louisiana. And they have something that's most important and interesting I think they're going to be talking about.
Roy, people have been concerned across this country about their ability to carry a firearm out on the street where they might be the victim of a crime just as well as at home where it's more easy to have a firearm. And in Texas, as you probably know, when the attack occurred in Luby's cafeteria in Killeen, nobody had a gun because the state law there will make no provision for people to have a carry permit. So what you've done in Louisiana, I think, is something that people need to hear about all over the rest of the country, because there's a lot of places like Texas where people can't protect themselves legally.
Well, I appreciate that. We were fortunate in Louisiana. We passed a law, actually an amendment to an existing law in the Louisiana legislature this last session. I'm pleased to say that it passed by fairly large majorities and signed by the governor, requiring that if a person is legally eligible and has no disqualifying factors like a criminal record or that sort of thing, requiring that the chief law enforcement officer for our county, we call them parishes in Louisiana, issue that person a concealed weapons permit. For the last 16 years, the authority to issue concealed weapons permits has been available. But by and large, the sheriffs of the state all decided that they didn't want to issue them, so they weren't issuing any of them. They had discretion and they decided not to issue a single one of them. So we amended the law this last session to require that these permits be issued unless there was some good reason, such as a criminal record, why they shouldn't be. And I'll tell you, it's really been interesting because when I go to the courthouse in my parish, there's a long line of people that have been for the last 4 days lining up actually out into the street to get the permits that they've been denied for the last 16 years.
Well, I think one of the things that's important that people consider when they try to do the same thing in their state is that what you've done in Louisiana has made it so that people will not have to get training, they will not have to show the judge or the sheriff why they should have a gun, that they have some extraordinary need, that they carry a lot of money. It's good enough that they want to protect their own lives and they don't need to explain to a government official why they should be able to enjoy their Second Amendment liberty. So what you've done is make it so that as long as they're not a disqualified person, because felons don't have civil rights, then there's no other reason that the government can use to keep them from carrying a gun. And I know that in the states that have this kind of mandatory issue, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, they don't have a crime problem. It hasn't been something where the gun owner just rushes out and starts shooting up the place. In fact, these are very responsible people. Anybody that bothers to get a permit to carry a gun isn't going to be the kind of person that's going to go rob a bank or mug somebody out on the street.
In many cases, I think, Larry, these are people that have needed to carry a firearm from time to time in the past and probably have done so without the permit. And this gives them the opportunity to go in and get the permit and do it legally, and requires that those permits be issued to these people.
Now they're able to protect their lives without becoming a crook, and I think that's the bottom line of what you've done, and we really appreciate it.
Well, gentlemen, we thank you so much. You know, if we let people know what can be done around the country, well, hey, we're off to a better start than we were. So, again, from Gun Owners of America, Larry Pratt, our good friend Roy Brunn, State Representative of Louisiana.
Lidecker, I mean, that's
well, here we are,
right?
Chip McCormick and Waldo Lidecker, our good friend, and they're visiting here at the Colt booth at the 3, 2, 1 at the 1992 SHOT Show. And tell me, fellas, how are we doing? How are we having a good time?
Well, Chip's here showing off his new lightweight, high-capacity 38 Super competition gun, which he has under lock and key in his briefcase here. And he tells me in another 7 weeks, which should be absolutely by the end of February, right, Chip?
Yeah, I don't know. He sure feel good about the end of February.
Yeah, he'll be out with the gun. And it'll be the first high-capacity 38 Super competition gun. So.
Well, that's great.
And a 45.
14 plus 1.
14 plus 1.
Well, look, since we're here, just for fun, why don't you tell the folks how they can reach your company, or how about mailing address, right, for a catalog, or give a phone number, whatever.
Okay, we have an 800 phone number.
All right, let's do it.
1-800-328-CHIP. CHIP. If you'll call that number, we'll mail you information on the gun. The gun is basically a 1911 compatible pistol. It holds twice as many cartridges as a standard 1911. It's lighter, yet it's stronger.
All right. Well, I'm sure a lot of our viewers will be interested in finding out more about that. Gentlemen, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you shortly. I know a lot of people enjoy seeing you on our show. What they call a photo opportunity.
5mm gun here. Yes, this is my high capacity 35. Is that right? Is that right?
High capacity 35.
Shots without reloading.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're watching our good friend Neil Knox and Manny Coppelson and Waldo Lidecker.
I haven't seen that plaid shirt.
This is Judge Leroy Scott, and he's just a good friend of ours. Came by the booth, and I think he's tired of walking, and he's just resting a little bit, waiting for Roy Brunn. Glad to have you come by, Judge.
Okay, we're doing the thing on 24.
All right.
Okay, great. All right.
All right, we're here in the Lakefield booth with a gentleman named Ernie Barrage, and they make fine .22 rimfire rifles. And he's going to tell us about a couple of their products right now. So, sir, what do you have there in your hands?
We have here our model Mark 1 single shot. That's we've also been in business like about 22 years, but the gun here is a single shot 22 caliber rifle. We take short, long, and long rifle. We make the same model again in a youth model, and we make the same model also in a smooth bore for shooting birdshot.
Now, some of our viewers may not have heard of you because you're a Canadian company, am I correct?
That's right.
But you're making some fast inroads into the United States market, and I'm sure you've been here for a number of years, just that in our area here we weren't aware of it, but we're certainly pleased to find out about you. So tell us, you say you make a youth model of this. Is this more or less a basic entry-level .22 single shot at this point?
This basically is, yes. We're strictly in the low-end field, and it basically is an entry-level gun that happens to be adult size. The youth model we, of course, manufacture for the youngster getting involved as a beginner.
Well, sir, we're always pleased to meet another quality manufacturer who tries to appeal to the economical needs of the shooting public. So why don't you show us a couple of other things that you'd like to have featured?
Okay. We manufacture also a 22 bolt action repeater. Comes with a 10-shot clip. Takes a long rifle only. Make the same model, also in a used model. And also new for this year, we've designed it in a left-hand version, which is the one shown right over here.
Let me get a close up of that.
For the left-hand shooter, because after some analysis, we found that there's about a 15%
That was the next question I was going to ask.
amount of people that are left-handed, and this is really the only low-end left-hand model basically available on the market today.
Okay, how can our viewers, if they want to find out more about a Lakefield rifle, or can they ask their local sporting goods dealer to order one of these guns for them? How does that work?
Local sporting goods dealer can order from his local distributor. The guns are available at most of the major local distributors in the United States, and if they just wanted product information, they can just write us at our factory in Canada.
Well, why don't you give us your mailing address? Okay.
Our mailing address is, the company is Lakefield Arms Limited. It's P.O. Box 129, Lakefield, Ontario, Canada, and the postal code is KOL2HO.
Well, you also, I want to make note, you do have a couple of target grade guns over here. And you have said you deal primarily in economy type guns, but boy, we always appreciate a good target gun.
We just started last year to manufacture a low-end entry-level target rifle. We make two versions, a single shot, also a repeating 5-shot repeater. This is a good quality firearm, very accurate, works well, and we find that it's really starting to take hold now to the person that really can't afford a high-priced gun like an Anschutz.
That's great. Well, we are certainly pleased to make you folks acquaintance, and we're going to put you on our program. I know a lot of our viewers will be interested in your company, and we thank you so much for taking time to talk.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity.
3, 2, 1, we're on.
You want to pick up one of your 45 carbines there and show us? All right, and this is the Auto Ordnance booth here at the SHOT Show 1992, and we have Joanne Rose here showing us one of the Thompson. Of course, this one is in semi-automatic, I'm sure. Am I correct? And with how many rounds in the drum?
50-round drum, and we also have 100-round drums available.
So 100-round drums are available. Well, great. And this is something that they're showing us here. And they also
Nice to meet Carrie. Style pistol. It's we call it our general model. It's got an overall length of 7 3/4, 4.5-inch barrel. Has a full recoil guide system, rubber wraparound grips, and new 3-dot sights.
And this is a new product for you.
New for 1992.
New for 92. Well, we appreciate you taking time to visit with us, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers out there will be interested to see what new products you have. Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
I can deal with that a lot better than I can.
And love those custom-made boots and shoes.
In fact, these are all customers' orders. Somebody owns their.
Don't need me being with a picture. And he'll call me, and he'll just say we're pictures, and you show the boot, those two, or any of the others.
3, 2, 1, okay.
This is a Velcro strap hunting, riding type boot combination that we make. The leather on the bottom of this particular one is African water buffalo. We can make it out of any other types of leather. We just finished a pair for a man with the water buffalo on the bottom and the DuPont Cordura nylon on the top. That would be a little more scratch resistant, and we put a double layer of the Cordura in that one for snake proof also. It makes a real comfortable boot, but also easy to get on and off with everything.
All right, well, tell us about the boot on your right there. Viewers, you'll see this boot is a lace-up and a tall boot. Gary, and incidentally, this is Gary Lovelace of Lovelace Custom Made Boots and Shoes in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And he's, what's this boot, Gary?
This boot is on the English riding boot style, also the old cavalry, United States Army cavalry type boot. The lacing, we call it a field style. The lacing allows it to be adjustable to get on and off easier, but also to tighten it up. Most people that rides English dress dressage and English field wears this type of boot on their horse shows and things.
Well, that's great. Most attractive. Well, you look like you have a very fine array of styles and materials that you can use. I believe this one here in the center is a Stingray.
Yes, it is.
Which is a little different. Something I don't know much about. And what do you have there in your hand?
This boot is African Nile crocodile. We're the sole importer on this particular skin. This is the bones off the back of the top of the head of the Nile crocodile. We put this on the toe. It takes 2 3-foot baby skins to make a pair. We use kangaroo on the top side, and then this has special inlay of the crocodile inlaid all the way around the tops.
Let me get a close-up of that. Folks, this is so pretty. And let's see the toe on that one more time, please, sir. Isn't that amazing? And we'll look around your booth here for a moment, and we can see that you have a number of different skin types that you can make boots out of. Well, Gary, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us. And in fact, why don't you give our viewers out there your address, or how do they get in touch with you about buying a pair of your boots?
Our company name is Loveless Custom Boots and Shoes. It's at 2434 Southwest 29th Street, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Our area code on the phone is 405-631-9731. You can just give us a call at any time and we'd be glad to help.
Well,
we take a mold of the foot. We're the only place in the country that does that, and that completely changes the fit as well as the feel when we make it.
Well, thanks so much for being on the Shooting Show this afternoon.
Thank you.
This is Larry Duke. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I just wondered how I should make this out. How should I sign
How about for the Shooting Show?
For the Shooting Show, okay.
A world famous artist here at SHOT Show in 1992. I think a lot of our viewers out there will be interested in seeing some of his work. In fact, he has about as convincing a picture of a bear after some good campers as I've ever seen.
There it is.
Larry, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Here we are in the Clark Custom Guns Incorporated booth here at the SHOT Show in New Orleans. And this is Jim Clark Jr., as we have said many times, a world-class shooter, a very fine competitor of shotgun, rifle, and handgun. He is showing someone who wants some information about their guns. And as we pan the booth here, you see some of their custom 20 rifles, Rugers, fantastically accurate. And of course, here is Jim Clark Sr., one of the great handgunners of all time, and winner of the prestigious handgun award.
Yeah, but the
I even took the trigger mechanism.
Hey, that's right.
Tomorrow.
My gosh.
Hi, Ron. How are you? How are you? Good.
Ladies, and he is going to tell us just a little bit about what they're doing. He's nice enough to take a little time, and trust me on this one, everyone who's not familiar with the SHOT Show, it is a fantastic gun circus. That's about the best way I can put it. So Ron, tell us what you folks are doing.
Well, Colt's Manufacturing Company was formed 2 years ago to basically carry on the tradition of Sam Colt, invented a revolver, started our company in 1836, and the baton has been passed to our generation to continue that tradition of excellence and quality. We're trying to put some emphasis on listening a little bit more to the marketplace, and we come out with some new products to meet those marketplace needs as we're hearing them. Things like the Model 1991 A1 that was introduced this fall, and the Model 2000, which answers a lot of questions people have had of why doesn't Colt come out with these products. So we're doing our best to move forward to meet the customer requirements.
Well, we're anxious to have some of your guns for testing, such as the new Anaconda and the Model 2000, as well as this new 45 government model. And I believe this is an economically priced gun. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely. Very competitively priced. And I think that Colt's is always been looked at as being a matter of quality, high quality. We are concerned that we want to make sure that it's also high value. And That's not to say that it's always going to be the lowest price gun, because it's not. Quality costs money, but we're going to make sure that you get the best value for your money, and that's our goal.
Well, sir, that's certainly a fine statement. We're in support of you and your efforts with Colt, and we look to be hearing a lot more good things from you in the future. Thanks so much.
Look forward to seeing you next year at the SHOT Show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Incidentally, this is the Minuteman Industry Minuteman Award, Colt Manufacturing Company, issued by the Second Amendment Foundation, and we're very proud they received this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're down here at the Wyoming Arms booth, and of course they're good friends of ours and one of our fine sponsors. And here we have Greg Market of Wyoming Arms, and we have Eddie. Okay, Richard Morris, also Wyoming Arms, and they have a lovely lady named Marquita Smith, and Marquita is one of their salespeople. She's going to tell us about these three guns on the display here. So, tell us what you got there, Marquita, please, ma'am.
Hi, we're Wyoming Arms. We manufacture the Parker pistols. It's available in 3 calibers. 40 Smith.
Edit.
Sorry.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
3 calibers, 10 millimeter, 45 ACP. Available in 3 lengths, 3 3/8, 5-inch, 7-inch. We're 100% American made, manufactured right in Thermopolis, Wyoming. What else can I say?
That's fine. You're doing fine. All right, now.
We have a stainless steel construction. We have 17-core stainless.
And you do have a lifetime warranty, I believe, don't
Sorry. A lifetime warranty is available. Oh, that wasn't right. I'm off. Wait a minute.
you? Hey, you're doing fine. You won't believe how slick this will look when we edit. Don't worry about a thing.
Lifetime warranty.
Well,
In-factory service on our pistols. Millet sights available on the 3 3/8 fixed sights only, 5-inch on the fixed or adjustable, 7 inches on the budget, which is available in adjustable sights.
Well, we have really enjoyed shooting the 10 millimeter you sent us, and we're looking forward. I think we're supposed to test a 45 for you in the not too distant future, and we have enjoyed the reliability and the serviceability of the gun. They're easy to shoot. They have very low recoil for the caliber they're in, and we're darn sure with you. We think that you folks have a tremendous product, and we're going to support you. Thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
Television's a wonderful place to be.
That's what the show is.
The show itself, there's nothing new here. And it's been real tough walking up and down the house.
Boy, it's been long.
Yeah, I just showed you one new one.
Well, I'm so pleased to meet Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Lewis Higginbotham down in the Shooter's Pride booth, and he has something I think will be interesting to a lot of us. He's about to show us. Now, Lewis, is that a laser on that handgun there, sir? Help me out here.
Johnny, we've been working with this for 3 years, making different ones and marketing different ones. The big two problems we've heard from customers and dealers and wholesalers is that number one, it's not holsterable, and number two, the pressure pad doesn't work. Pressure pad for an activator, it's a balloon. A balloon's got air in it, a balloon leaks.
Right.
Even the Goodyear blimp leaks. But after it starts to leak, the pressure pad goes independent on you, and you don't have control over your laser anymore. So we were trying to eliminate the pressure pad. We were trying to solve the problem of where do you put the wires going to the pressure pad. We were also trying to get it holsterable. And holsterable means let's get in close. Get in tight to the frame.
Without having exorbitant dimensions, yes.
And what we came up with in studying all the different ones and going through probably 30 different versions of building our own, the handguns are unique in the width of the frame and the radius and configuration of the trigger guard.
Right.
So what we've done is built it specific to this dimension here, the width of the frame, and specific to the radius, curvature, and configuration of the front part of the trigger guard. The internal part of the laser is all the same, but the external part, which grips onto the pistol, is unique to each type of pistol.
I understand.
Now, you don't have to buy this and a mount also. This is its own mount.
Okay.
It goes to the pistol in a snap fit across the frame, owner mounted, no gunsmithing, drilling, or tapping. In the rear, there are 2 Delrin sleeves. Can't see through the safety safari sticker, but there's 2 Delrin sleeves that are milled out to fit the trigger guard. They're pushed in and screwed down again by the owner. That is locked on rock solid. It's not going anywhere. It won't shoot loose. It won't come loose if you drop it. It's all right. We do not recommend you use it as a hammer, but it's sturdy.
But it is sturdy. Yes, sir.
And your clients are not going to come back to you complaining that it doesn't work or that it doesn't stay on.
I have a question for you.
All right, sir.
How often and what kind of batteries do you use in the gun?
Okay. The battery is a lithium Duracell. It's got a 5-year shelf life. It's got an hour and a half continual trigger time. If you left it on, it'll burn out in 90 minutes. But when you turn it on and off, there is some recovery, so it's longer than 90 minutes.
Longer than 90 minutes.
At 3 seconds per shot, that's 1,800 rounds before you're going to need a new battery.
Okay, and they're fairly easy to find. This is like a camera battery type.
Camera shop or a Radio Shack carrier. It's called an in-cell. November in-cell.
It's great.
Once you've got it mounted, you can adjust it for elevation and windage.
Just like a scope.
Simple Phillips head, turn it, lock it down, adjust for elevation, and then it is zeroed, point of aim, in probably 10 minutes out of the box.
That's great.
Now, what we've come up with is this, get rid of the pressure pad. There's an aircraft toggle switch. It's mil-spec quality. We're all taught, keep your finger out of the trigger guard until it's time to shoot.
That's right.
Well, this part of my hand is busy holding the gun, but this finger is not doing anything.
Right.
It's unemployed. Might as well use it to turn on the laser and turn it off.
Right.
So if you pick up that target down there.
Okay, let's see that in action. John, don't y'all look at this now. We're going.
Oh yes.
And you know that's plenty, and it's bright in here now. Talk about.
Now let me move forward a little bit so you can get some of me in this.
Okay.
What I want you to see.
We're back about 10 yards
other
now.
Parts of what makes this important to a shooter. When I try to hold out like this, look through the sights, get it up there where I can see it. I've got the weight of my upper arm, the weight of the gun, and I've got it out at an extended range.
Right.
So it's the worst possible way to try to hold it up. That's where I'm going to get the tiredest, the quickest, and that's where I'm going to start wiggling it. Let me show you.
Right.
It's not as
All right, I'm headed for the target now, right?
held out here at arm's length.
Right.
There's not too many of us who are strong enough and sturdy enough
That's true.
to hold it hard on.
We're all going to wear out, that's right.
I'm going to bring it back down to here where I can lock this arm in. The shoulder girdle is doing what it's designed to do. The elbow is helping. Even my rib cage and my little pot belly here love handles. They're helping too. I can lock it in with both hands, and all of a sudden,
And suddenly,
much less work.
much easier.
And notice I'm not looking at the sight.
Right. You're looking at the target.
I'm looking at the target. Now that's an important thing to consider. For approximately 15,000 years that we know of, we have been looking at the target.
Right.
Particularly in a stressful situation. Whether it was rocks, clubs, fists, spears, bows and arrows, knives,
That's true.
swords, we look at the target. So we are genetically programmed to look at what threatens us. Over the last 200 years, and this is kind of heresy to talk about guns this way when there's so many people who make a living making sights. For the last 200 years, we have taken a little bit of a detour, and we've tried to tell people to look at the front sight, look at the back sight, get them lined up properly, and then get it on the target. Well, when you've got plenty of time and you're not under stress, you can do that. When you're in a hurry, it's hard to reprogram 15,000 years of biological development, genetic programming, to say, don't look at the target, look at the front sight. Automatically, you're going to focus on that target. So with this, we say, don't worry about the sights, get it up there quick, focus on the target, as you are designed to do.
Well, sir, why don't
Some
you
other
tell us?
things that we've done about this. We built it for all of the major handguns that are, the biggest sellers, we think.
Well, now, are you offering the laser and the mount as a kit? The complete?
The mount and the laser are the same thing.
The same thing.
The laser is inside,
But
the mount is
so
there.
you sell the entire package?
Yes, and they don't have to buy our laser and then go buy another mount.
Right.
They get stuck for another 80
So you're
bucks.
ready for it?
The whole thing's right there in the same package.
All right, well, go ahead.
Kellner, would you hand me one of those holsters? Kellner handed me a holster. He also gave me another one. We'd like to show you that we offer it in satin or blue. Comes in left or right hand. I was showing you Beretta before. This is Browning High Power. We said make it holsterable. We also wanted to give you a holster. What we have is a pressure-formed holster that is unique to the gun, Browning, Colt, Beretta, Taurus, whatever. But it's also with the laser mounted on it.
You have a cutout there for your adjustment.
Pressure
Great.
formed all around, so it's snug all the way around. It's as a high ride, right there. The cutout allows the battery and the switch to go in. We've also got
Laser shoots through the holsters.
we've got
fellas, we just ran out of tape. That's all right. We got another one over in the booth.
Come here, Al.
We need to go get it.
Al.
I'll fix you up here.
Al is the owner of the company.